Any large organization has one big challenge that they all have to solve. How are they going to manage their APIs? And there's a lot of different options these days, but the two that we see that are probably the most common are GraphQL and gRPC. GraphQL got its popularity from Facebook, which uses it internally, so they dogfood it. And it's a very powerful tool to be able to compose microservices together through stitching. You can create microservices once, and then the client, more often than not, a user interface, gets to compose those together as best they need it. About 5, 6, 7 years ago, Google actually open sourced what they use, which is gRPC. It is fundamentally different than GraphQL, but it has a lot of advantages to it that GraphQL doesn't have. GraphQL, primarily JSON based. gRPC, they built it from the ground up. So it uses HTTP2, which allows for much faster streaming. And it also uses protobuf, which if you think about a GraphQL response, you have to essentially wait until you get the response to be able to begin serializing it. With gRPC, using protobuf, you can actually serialize it as you go. So you're able to create instances of objects, you're able to get a lot more information together because it's able to create that as it's getting the response. Now, unfortunately, for the clients that we work with, there really is no silver bullet where we can say, use this or use that. A lot of it is really just circumstantial. What are their goals? What are the limitations? And what are the things that their current technical team uses? It honestly depends a lot on all those different factors. So if you're in the market for a different API solution, you probably are going to end up somewhere between GraphQL and gRPC. If you have a very disparate, very unique, very mature microservice approach, honestly, GraphQL might be the way to go, especially if you want to be able to compose applications on an ad hoc basis and simply reuse classes and APIs and business libraries that are already there. If you're building something though from the ground up and speed, streaming, and future-proofing an application are things that are on the top of your list, gRPC is probably going to make a lot of sense. So again, we wish there was one answer that we just give to everyone and tell you this is exactly what you should use. But a lot of it just comes down to having someone from Keyhole come in, figure out what are the things that are unique for your business, what are the things that you do well, what are your constraints, and figuring out honestly, of these two solutions, which one is going to work best for you.